You feel tired all the time. You've put on weight without changing much. You're cold when everyone else is comfortable. Your skin is dry. Your mood is low. Your thinking feels foggy. And every time you mention it, you hear the same thing. Well, that's just getting older. But what if it isn't? What if a tiny, butterfly-shaped gland in your neck, one most people never think about, is the hidden reason you've been feeling so off? That gland is your thyroid, and it has an outsized influence on how you feel every single day. When it drifts out of balance, which becomes much more common after 60, it can produce a whole collection of symptoms that look exactly like ordinary aging, so they get dismissed year after year. And that's a real shame, because thyroid problems are easy to test for and very treatable. We went through the research on thyroid health and aging, and today I'm going to explain what your thyroid does, the signs it may be out of balance, why it's so often missed after 60, and the simple step that can finally give you answers. So stay with me to the end, because I'll tell you about the one simple, inexpensive blood test that can reveal a thyroid problem in minutes, the test you may simply need to ask for. First, let me show you what this little gland actually does, because it explains everything. Picture your thyroid as the thermostat and accelerator for your entire body's metabolism. It releases hormones that set the pace at which your body runs, how fast you burn energy, how warm you feel, how quickly your heart beats, even how your mind and mood operate. When it's working just right, you hardly notice it. But when it produces too little hormone, everything in your body slows down. And when it produces too much, everything speeds up. Almost every symptom we'll discuss flows from that one idea, a body running too slow or too fast. Let's look at both. Quick favor before we go on. If you've been feeling off and brushing it aside, tap that like button. It helps this reach more adults over 60 who deserve real answers. And as you watch, see whether the slowed down or sped up picture sounds more like you. All right, let's get into it. The first and most common thyroid problem after 60 is an underactive thyroid, when it makes too little hormone. We'll call it the slowed engine. When your thyroid runs low, your whole body slows down, and the symptoms are remarkably broad. Persistent fatigue, unexplained weight gain, feeling cold all the time, dry skin and thinning hair, constipation, a low or depressed mood, and a kind of mental fog or sluggishness. In plain terms, when the engine idles too low, everything runs slow and heavy. Now, read that list again, and you'll see the problem. Every one of those symptoms is exactly what people blame on getting older. That's why an underactive thyroid is missed so often and for so long. The second problem is the opposite, an overactive thyroid, when it makes too much hormone. We'll call it the racing engine. Here, everything speeds up. An unexplained racing or pounding heart, weight loss despite a normal appetite, feeling anxious, jittery, or irritable, feeling too hot, shaky hands, and trouble sleeping. In plain terms, when the engine revs too high, the body runs hot and fast. In older adults, this one can be sneaky too. Sometimes the main sign is simply a racing or irregular heartbeat, which connects to our video on atrial fibrillation. So an overactive thyroid is worth knowing about as well. Stay with me, because the third point explains why this gets missed so badly after 60. We'll call it the great disguise. Thyroid symptoms overlap almost perfectly with what we expect from aging. Tiredness, weight changes, mood shifts, feeling cold, foggy thinking. So both the person and sometimes even those around them assume it's just age and never think to look at the thyroid. On top of that, in older adults, the symptoms can be milder or less typical, making it even easier to overlook. In plain terms, a thyroid problem hides in plain sight, disguised as ordinary aging. This is precisely why you sometimes have to think of it yourself and ask. And the fourth point is the hopeful one, how easily this is sorted out. We'll call it the simple answer. Here's the wonderful news. A thyroid imbalance is usually diagnosed with a simple, inexpensive blood test, and it's very treatable. In plain terms, The mystery that may have dragged on for years can often be solved with one blood draw. Many people who finally get their thyroid checked and treated describe feeling like a fog has lifted, their energy, mood, and sense of themselves returning. That's how impactful this small gland can be. So let's bring it together. Your thyroid sets the pace for your entire body. When it's underactive, you feel slowed down, tired, cold, foggy, and heavy. When it's overactive, you feel revved up, racing, anxious, and hot. And because these symptoms mimic aging so perfectly, the thyroid is one of the most commonly overlooked explanations for feeling off after 60, even though it's simple to test and treat. Now, here's that test I promised, and your action step. If you've been feeling persistently off in the ways we described, the single best thing you can do is ask your doctor to check your thyroid with a simple blood test. It often starts with a measure called TSH, and your doctor can explain the results and any next steps. You don't need to suffer in uncertainty, and you don't need to accept feeling unwell as simply your lot. In plain terms, if something feels off, ask for the thyroid test. It's one of the most worthwhile questions you can bring to your next appointment. Now, I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, do any of these symptoms sound like what you've been feeling? And have you ever had your thyroid checked? Be honest, because your answer might be the push someone else reading needs to finally ask their doctor. We read every comment here at Build After 50, and your questions often become our next videos. And before you go, if this helped, the next video you should watch is right here. It's the truth about cholesterol that no one ever explained to you, another number worth understanding after 60. Go watch it next. If you're new here, Build After 50 publishes research-based health videos every week, made specifically for adults over 50 who want to feel their best and stay independent. Hit subscribe and turn on the bell so the next one finds you. One important note before we close. Everything we share here at Build After 50 is for educational purposes only. It's grounded in research, but it is not a substitute for personalized medical advice. Only a doctor can test your thyroid, interpret the results, and guide treatment. So please, take any concerns and a request for that test to them. They know your situation better than any video ever could. Here's the thought I'll leave you with. Feeling off is not something you simply have to accept as the price of getting older. Sometimes the answer is small, testable, and treatable, and finding it can give you back your energy, your warmth, and your spark. Don't settle. Ask the question. Aging well isn't luck. It's the small, smart steps you take. This is Build After 50. Keep building.